Hi, welcome to another one of our videos. Today I'm going to be looking at at an exercise which is known as horse stance to many, or bird dog for some, quadruped, got many different names, but basically this is a great exercise you can use for building great core stability and strength, but also for the glute strength. Often we use this exercise for someone with sacroiliac pain, extension or other various forms of extension related back pain, where people feel back pain, like say on a hip extension. The clam exercise, another regression they can't do because they just wind up the hip flexors of TFL, ITB, and they just really, even though it's a glute exercise, they just use all their hip muscles to do it. So it really leaves you struggling to find what's a good exercise I can use to strengthen my glutes that's not going to give me pain. So this exercise here is quite an effective one, and I'm just going to play it and give you an idea of what it looks like. So this is in its basic form. Well, we've added resistance to this too. So we've got a cable on the leg here, and Nathan's just pushing the cable out behind him, and we've kept the arm on the ground here to make him more stable. So it's very much a glute exercise where he's got hip extension. That's where we want to see the form kick in, and where we start to see where, if we want to make it a bit more unstable, you can see his other arm lifted off the ground there. So once he removes his other hand from there, so the glutes obviously kicking out when we're doing the extension, so that when they're doing that, where the core has got to be involved, it's got to make sure that he doesn't try to use his back to do the extension. So often with these people with the glute related problems and their, say, hip extensions, using their lower back to push themselves up, you'll often see them really crank up through here, which then compromises the stability. So this is also a great shoulder stability exercise as well. So this arm lift on the ground is also working hard in that regard. But the main thing that we would use this with the resistance is try and build some glute strength without the compensations that we would often see through the rest of the body, which Nathan's going to show you now, which is when someone really cranks it up. If I move forward, there you go. So when we start to see this stuff where the person really, see how his back just goes into, really just overextends, and he really just creates a lot of compression into that back, which is what you would see on the hip extensions, the squats, the deadlifts, all the things where you should be using your glutes, but instead all you do is using your back to try and lift yourself up instead of trying to push yourself up. So you can see here where he's really cranking it up in a big way. All right, so when that happens, and if the person can't get the stability, we'll bring in a smaller ball and we'll pop that under the chest here to assist them in maintaining a more of a neutral position. But basically the ball is trying to help them not crank it up, and then they can get that feeling of the glute pushing out behind, getting the hip extension, and with enough practice you can remove the ball and go back to the traditional method. So you might have to keep both hands on the ground before you do that, and in the case here Nathan's showing you how we might do it with the ball using the hand and the arm in conjunction with each other. But this is a great exercise you can use. It's a lot harder than it looks, I'll tell you right now. Once you start adding resistance to the horse stance, it changes everything. So we're using a cable machine, but you could easily use a rubber band and just tie it to a pole. And trust me when I tell you, this is a lot harder than it looks. So a great exercise you can use if you're suffering from working out. I know I've got a glute weakness, but all the ones that I'm using just give me pain in my back or in my hip. So how do I strengthen my glutes? Well, this is probably your solution. So and again, like so many things happening here, is great stability for the low back and the shoulder. All right, and eventually get good at this. This leads to getting to standing up things, and you'll be able to progress into those a lot more easier. All right, so hope you've enjoyed that and it helps you out with your training, and we'll see you on our next video.